For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
What a depressing place we call St. Lucia. As I welcome you to another week of NewsSpin right here on Power 97.9 FM, as well as on our NewsSpin Facebook page and YouTube. My name is Timothy Poleon. We go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Lots of surprises in store for you. We hope that we'll be able to edify you on a lot of things, as well as educate and no doubt entertain you as well. But we all hope that at the end of the broadcast we'll have achieved something that would make life a lot better in St. Lucia. Our NewsSpin Facebook question of the day: how did we get ourselves into this mess? And there's no denying that we are in a mess. But who's responsible? We are. One way or the other, we got ourselves into that mess. And we'll explore and we'll explain during the course of our program this afternoon. But we all can be leaders. So we have leaders, people are claiming to be leaders. We have politicians. Then we have followers. Those people looking to our leaders for answers to those problems that we are experiencing and we have experienced for so long. Because for some of us, it's quite complicated. It warrants certain skills, certain talents, and we therefore need certain people at the helm, different portfolios, different positions to address those issues. But our approach, has it worked? So again, our NewsSpin Facebook question of the day: how did we get ourselves into this mess? Some of the comments: oh, we were playing in the mud. LOL, LOL, shaking my head, boy, oh boy. Another person says, oh, that mess. Allen and his crew put us there. Poor job. PJP and his crew have to do the cleanup. But we hear that all the time, you know. United Workers' Party get into office and they would say they have some mopping up to do because of the mess that was left behind by the SLP. Then the SLP gets into office, says the same thing about the UWP. So nothing new. So let's continue to go through some of your comments once again to our Facebook question of the day. And that Facebook question of the day: how did we get ourselves into that mess? And we need to say, how did we get ourselves into that mess? Because we did not get there overnight. And as much as we want to be critical of some people, we are all in this mess together. All right, so somebody says, because we ourselves are a mess, and there is a saying that the nation's development is a reflection of the people themselves. Tim, unless the mindset of the people changes, this country will continue to head downhill. I wouldn't want my newborn to grow up in this environment. Another person says, Tim, what mess? It's not like the sky is falling. Person, of course, deliberately being sarcastic, because some caller to the broadcast last week famously asked, is the sky falling? I mean, we're not in any mess. Somebody says, then the aftermath, it was a bloodbath. Guys, it's time to clean all that bloody corruption. Another person says, we are all to be blamed because of our actions or inactions, so we now have to work together to fix it. We can. Somebody else says, Tim, some St. Lucians love to live on propaganda, not the truth, and they love too many handouts, so the SLP worked on them. That is why we are in this mess today. Another comment: by believing the lies of the SLP, somebody also says, Tim, what or which mess are you referring to? The polls have spoken, we are getting what we wanted. Okay, in terms of the voters have spoken, we're getting what we want. We are getting what we wanted. Another person says, which mess and who created it? And just some of your responses to the question. Let me see if I could go through some more of your comments on the broadcast this afternoon. Okay, let me see if I could go through some more, because we need to be honest with ourselves as far as the mess that we are in right now. Somebody says, by having PJP as Prime Minister, worst yet Minister of National Security. Another person says, all right, we got ourselves into this mess because the United Workers' Party public relations operations failed miserably in addressing all the lies and communist propaganda of the SLP, rendering thousands of United Workers' Party supporters to stay away from the polls, whilst Labour Party supporters, many of whom are uneducated and illiterate, hoodwinked, believing the lies, came out in numbers. Certain UWP policies, for example, of not providing more cash flow support to small businesses, was also a factor. Another person says, they voted for the wrong party. St. Lucians love to listen to UD. They love freeness too much. They sold their soul for $1,500. And let's see if we get a final comment. Somebody says, we got ourselves in that mess because we do not use the scientific approach to analyze or fix anything. Our rational approach in solving problems is so old-fashioned, we can compare it to the thoughts of the whatever, I can't make out this one. When we are going to stop being at each other's throats or heels, this crab in a barrel mentality must be stopped by both sides. That will do it as far as our NewsSpin Facebook question of the day. And that NewsSpin Facebook question of the day: how did we get ourselves into this mess? I know that somebody would call and say, we aren't in a mess because the sky is not falling. There's no need for us to panic. Well, we might as well start pressing the panic button, because this is one depressing nation. And I know that you can, at least some of you, human beings, can vouch for that. For others, we're getting contracts, we're now consultants who have the security apparatus, the nation's security apparatus at their disposal. Not a big issue. People who have a job and don't care about other people. Inflation for some is not a problem for them. The prevalence of illegal firearms and ammunition in our streets, not a big issue, because who knows, they're benefiting from it as well. And as long as some people are in power, they're in office, they're comfortable, to hell with the rest of the nation. And that goes for both political parties. Which takes me to this issue of leadership. All our leaders have always claimed, through, not necessarily through rhetoric, the utterances, but through the actions, they have always claimed, given the impression they have the answers to our problems. Because if somebody's going to be critical of who is in management, who is the supervisor, who is the prime minister, who is the minister of this and that, automatically you're saying that you can do better. You know the Marco Joie syndrome. You're on the sidelines, guy's playing a domino, he starts scratching it. Oh God, you played that domino, you could have played something else, etc., etc. That means that you're a lot better from those people who are in the game, whatever game that is. And so don't blame me if I continue to be very critical of the St. Lucia Labour Party because of how they behave, the bravado, the know-it-all, the attitude of I'm better than these guys, etc., etc. A year plus later, one does not get the impression. By now you should have been able to get the impression that the government knows what it's all about long term in terms of tackling those problems that we are experiencing. Because if you wait too long, people will start to lose confidence. They have a situation where people don't want to leave their homes, don't want to go out and socialize, don't want to step outside of their bedroom, far less outside of their homes, their balcony, etc. People might be quick after work, head home. Investors, we love investors. All politicians, they love investors for one reason or the other. We will not be able to attract investors to our shores because every other day, particularly on weekends, we get a report of this homicide and that homicide and 2 people being shot and injured. And if you're overseas, you won't be asking yourself questions. You listen to various talk shows, you go online. You don't need anybody here to play the role of a soothsayer, to call you and tell you, oh boy, boss, you want to set up a hotel in St. Lucia, but there's this homicide, etc., etc. You just go online. But we'll continue the discussion in just a moment and explain. Those politicians playing the role of a leader, you don't necessarily have the qualities to be a leader. Somebody says he's more comfortable in a leader becoming a politician. I cited one example of Nelson Mandela, but you'll hear in just a moment as we take a quick break. You're watching NewsSpin on our Facebook page as well as on YouTube and listening to us on Power 97.9 FM.
Born from the same soil, growing stronger.
Raised of our own sweat and toil, doing it together.
All back for you and me.
Taking us forward so proudly. First National Bank, the best of who we are. First National Bank, together we'll go far.
The pride of St. Lucia, here to stay.
Growing up, growing stronger, it's a First National way.
Every day we're back in better, faster and
National Bank. Together we'll go far. For decades every day it's clear, it's true. First National Bank, we're here for you.
Contact Lucelec before trimming or cutting down trees that are near overhead electrical wires. Watch out for power lines before you begin working on a ladder. Be sure that ladders or scaffolds are far enough away so that you and the ends of the tools you're using don't come within 10 feet of power lines. And never use any electrical appliance in wet surrounding outdoors or in the rain.
This message is brought to you by Lucelec, the power of care.
Bundle, yeah. Bundle, floor. Bundle, save. Tap up, yeah. Tap up, mad. Tap up. Look at the place covered. Browse all you want. Post all you want.
Win big with Flow! Tickets to the biggest shows, waterpark passes, costumes, over $20,000 in cash, data, and more! Activate a 3, 7, or 30-day combo plan. Pay up your bill, switch to Flow, bundle up your chance to win every day!
Bundle, yeah. Bundle, save. Tap up, yeah. Tap up, mad. Tap up. Look at the place covered. Browse all you want. Post all you want. Look at the place covered. Do what you want. Watch what you want.
Bundle now and get a smartphone for only $99! Switch now!
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road, V4 at 454-6555.
Africans think that politicians are liberators because we've been liberated by people who became politicians. We think that politicians are leaders because we were led by people who then became politicians. Nelson Mandela was a leader who went into politics. Julius Nyerere, a leader who went into politics. Do you understand? Yeah. They were not politicians who became leaders. They were leaders who became politicians. As a consequence of this, we now think that every politician is a leader. And so this is why when we have real problems of unemployment or loss of jobs or lack of economic growth or inflation, we look to the politicians because we go, you guys are the leaders. What you don't realize is you're looking at the wrong place. This is not where the leaders are now. I'm not saying that there are no leaders in politics. Right. I'm saying that not every politician is a leader.
So who are the individuals in government right now can consider to be leaders and not just politicians taking on the role or playing the role, pretending to be leaders? So I'll call a few names. Rhetorically, is Philip J. Pierre a leader or a politician who's playing the role of a leader? The same for Alan Chasney. Is he a leader or he's just playing the role? Because he's a politician, we see him being a leader. And Dr. Ernest Hilaire, Bradley, Felix, our MPs, elected MPs, Sean Edward, Kenson Casimir, Dr. Well, she was not elected in during the elections of December last year, 2021. But Poleon Antoine, a leader, just a politician, etc., etc. Because I find that very interesting. Comments that were made by this individual and making reference there to Africans. and whether you have a situation where you have politicians playing the role of leaders, or it's a case of leaders being politicians, playing the role of a politician. And he identified one individual, I think beyond question. He demonstrated his leadership qualities long before he became the first black president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. We're so quick to give people titles. We're so quick to see leadership qualities in individuals who really do not have it. I mean, you're just able to convince a few people to vote for them to get into office. And when they get there, what can they do? Tell you point blank, nothing. I think it'll be a useful exercise for our politicians, our government ministers right now to work diligently towards setting themselves apart when it comes to dealing with inflation, when it comes to the homicides that we're continuing to record on the island. I think we might be at, 46 homicides already for this year. And politicians say one thing in opposition on crime and they say another thing in government. So take, for example, Philip J. Pierre. What he said whilst we were going through another tumultuous period as far as crime is concerned during the reign of the United Workers' Party administration.
The government has failed in its promise to reduce crime. The murder rate is climbing, with 4 murders in the last 2 weeks. So much for a prime minister who promised to do with crime what he claimed his predecessor could not do.
So they all have failed. And I challenge anyone to call this broadcast, particularly if you're a supporter of the St. Lucia Labour Party, although they have warned you, don't call NewsSpin. But I challenge you to call this broadcast this afternoon and make any kind of excuses, put up a defense for the St. Lucia Labour Party as far as its handling of crime is concerned. Whether this SLP administration or the previous ones, because we like to say just a year and change, a year and a few months they're in office. But look at the trend as far as the stewardship of the SLP 1997 to 2001, then 2011, 2016, and even the United Workers' Party as well over the years, 2006 to 2011, and then 2016 to 2021. They all have failed us as far as crime is concerned. Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We recorded 2 homicides over the weekend, and at least 3 people, I think, were shot and injured. We have the homicide occurring in the wee hours of Sunday, 1 o'clock in the morning, over in Roseau. 35-year-old Kelvin Polius of Bel Air, shot and killed. And reports reaching law enforcement at about 1 o'clock on Sunday morning. Now, everyone would have been so depressed, concerned about this, complaining about the crime problem, thought that was it. Jelani Joseph, in the wee hours of today, 25 years old, gunned down. And this time he is from La Guerre in Babonneau. We have somebody who's holding on. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Tim.
I normally don't like to hear my first caller as being a hack, but anyway, let's go.
No,
go
Tim,
ahead.
I'm not any hack. I'm just being a realist.
No, I like the realist first, and then somewhere in the middle and towards the end, the hacks will come in. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, the hacks will come in, but that's okay, Tim. Tim, have those politicians, what have they created before politics? And my good friend Rick Wayne always says, have those politicians before their political career. They made politics as a career, but they have nothing to show prior to politics, or even before. I would venture to answer your question by saying this. Alan Chaffney is a leader. Why I say Alan Chaffney is a leader? Because Alan Chaffney, before politics, he created employment. He was self-sufficient. He did not have to see politics as a career. So John Compton was a leader. Why? He did not see politics as a career. He created employment for himself. So I'm not comparing Sir John Compton and Alan Chasney. These are two separate individuals, different individuals. But I'm just saying these two individuals are leaders. And they're leaders extraordinary. They proved themselves when they were in government, and Senator saw the development beyond what we expected. So these two individuals, Alan Chasney and Sir John Compton, are true leaders. Juxtapose that to members of the current Senator Labour Party cabinet. How many of them created any employment before politics came? Tell me. How many of those SLP parliamentarians or government ministers before politics had any career, any serious career? I cannot pinpoint not one. So that's setting that aside. Tim, did you hear the clip that is making the rounds on social media from Keith Mondesi?
Yes, I heard the clip.
Tim, that is the most degrading statement by a man who's supposed to be a member of the NTRC board. To say that all women, because they have a difference in opinion to you, to say that all women should shut all the holes in their body. And we have not heard the Minister of Telecommunications coming out of the government of the Labour Party.
I think he said towards the effect that all the holes that God gave them,
they should shut it. Shut it up. Tim, and Keith, by the way, Dr. Keith Mondesi is a member of the NTRC board. He is responsible, like all the other members, to regulate the media, whether radio or television. And for him to call a radio program and degrade women in the most, I can't even describe it, Tim. That tells you the mindset of those kinds of politicians. And yet still, we have not heard one word of condemnation from the Minister of Telecommunications, which happens to be Stephenson King, or the Prime Minister himself. This is viral all over social media. And I want women activists like Catherine Fields to come out and denounce such a statement. That's degrading to women. And if this government, if this Labour Party government does not come out and make a definitive condemnation of Dr. Keith Mondesi, it's like they're endorsing the statement. It's like he's supporting the statements of Dr. Keith Mondesi. And I'll venture to say, Tim, you need to play that clip so persons who may not be privy to...
No, Paul, I will not do that. No, that's degrading, disrespectful, and we have a particular standard on NewsSpin to uphold. And so, therefore, I will not be playing that clip at all on this program.
Okay,
no.
Tim. So I'm calling on the resignation of Dr. Keith Mondesi. Dr. Keith Mondesi should do the honorable thing and resign. And if he does not resign, we should, as right-thinking St. Lucians, as citizens, organize a petition and force the hand of this government to remove Dr. Mondesi as a member of the NTRC board. Failing to do this by this current Labour Party administration, we should all call for the resignation as a government. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Rest assured, those women's activists and so on, they will not be coming forward to say anything. And if there are words of condemnation emanating from them, I would be very, 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 very surprised. But you're talking about women, and you use that kind of language towards them, whether they're supporters of SLP or not. We have a WhatsApp call as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Jim, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
How are you?
I'm all right, sir.
How was your weekend?
Very good, caller.
Tim, how long can we just every weekend free for homicide in this country, and we hear no statement that is strong as to what type of action are we going to do to see whether we can at least give it a little cool out? Huh?
You'll hear a strong statement in just a moment from the Prime Minister, because he spoke to reporters earlier on today, just before Cabinet, so you'll be hearing from the Prime Minister in just a moment. Continue.
Tim, a statement and actions are two different things. You can make a statement, but the fact of the matter, if you cannot put it into action, then it makes no sense. Tim, we are going to lose this country, And somebody might maybe listen and say, well, how can you lose a country? But our reputation, persons abroad in the diaspora, there are persons that want to do business in this country, but because of what is happening, they're scared of come and spend millions of dollars here. And that's a fact. Not just on your game, on your story, it's a fact, it's a fact. This is a fact. Persons want to do business, but because of the escalation of crime everywhere in St. Lucia, no constituency spared. I mean, this is a joke. And we can continue to like that as this is just today's life. Where are the police? And I am continue calling on the police. They need to try something totally different from what they are trying. Whatever they are trying is not working. Why are the police are getting paid every month? But is that money worthwhile? And we have to take the police to task because the police they are not performing their duty. We cannot allow the police to get away with that. The police, imagine I drive in the road and the police vehicle is passing. They're more quick to get off the road than to stay on the road for 5 minutes to see what is happening. What kind of police is that? Taxpayers need to demonstrate and demand the police if they cannot perform. Well, get outside police to do the work, man. We're tired of having homicide after homicide after homicide. And most of those crimes happen right under the nose of the police. The police are responsible for the behavior, man. And we cannot pay the police. And the police doesn't play play a blind, pretending. And always we are investigating what? Just to get the name of the victim alone, and that's it. And then you have a politician now, which is responsible for the police, and not doing anything. And always want to tell you there is crime all over the globe, everywhere have crime and crime. But what are you doing? It is just like you have a politician that is in government and they're not working. People of St. Lucia have to strike him, demonstrate like in some countries overseas, and to take this very, very serious. Whether it is too much against politicians, and I call them not leaders, politicians, these people are not, they are not leaders. And the police, because the police are not performing. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much. But according to some people, the sky is not falling. Therefore, we should not be too alarmed, too concerned by what is happening in this country. And we should bide our time. Let us wait and see what's happening. Let's give the government a chance. The government has just been in office for a little over a year. Allow them, they're still wetting their feet, testing the grounds. Allow the government to settle, and then the government will act. Now, in the meantime, what the criminals are doing. Let us hear from the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister with responsibility for national security, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, reacting to the 2 homicides we recorded over the last, 3 days, and also the fact that at least 2 people were also shot and injured during the same period.
There were 2 murders in the weekend, and I must say that the police will have to relook at their tactics. What they're doing is obviously not working, and they have to relook at their tactics because it is serious. It is very serious, and I think the police now will have to go back to the drawing board and rethink their tactics and look at the ways and means in which they can stop that scourge.
National Security Minister Philip J. Pierre, we have a call. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for holding on. You're on the air.
Okay, I was barely hearing you. Yes, good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, Tim, a caller just a while ago was calling for you to play that clip from Dr. Monday, and you said you don't want to think the program. But I think you should reconsider that, Tim, because this man needs to be taken out of the position he is in, Tim. And this needs to be broadcast so that people who are pretending or people who may not have heard, because I have not heard anything from any women's group or anything like that yet. This is really, really, I mean, this is a sad state of affairs. When you tell me a man who was a former minister, who is a doctor, who is now on the board, getting paid by taxpayers, the same lady is he degraded. paying taxes in St. Lucia. And you're telling me that this man should be allowed, Tim, to make a statement like that and nobody's calling for his resignation, Tim? Tim, this is not good enough. I think you should be one of those people calling for his resignation.
But caller, the sky is not falling. And this is St. Lucia.
And this is well, we have to stop saying those foolish things and start changing. We have to start demonstrating. We have to start making that step, Tim. We cannot just keep saying, oh, this is St. Lucia, nothing will happen. Unless we don't take the step, we will never start going down the road to accomplish that mile. The mile starts with the first step. And we have powers. You have the power. You have a radio program. Radio broadcasters, and they have power to bring down governments, they have power to bring down certain people. Use the power that you have, Tim. You have a very, very long reach. And I think you should be one of those people calling for the resignation of Dr. Mondesi for such an outrageous and gutter statement. I'd like to leave it there for now, but this is really outrageous.
Okay, thank you so much. Playing it on NewsSpin, would that make a difference? Because those human rights activists, the feminists, women looking after the interests of other women, female gender, etc., I'm sure that many government ministers would have heard that clip already, because there's this thing about a clip going viral. It did not go viral for certain people to get it on their phone and to listen to it, etc. If you say anything about a politician or certain individuals in this country, they believe that warrants taking legal action against you. They listen to it, they play it, etc. They call their attorneys, they take action. In this particular case, that degrading statement about the women of St. Lucia, you might say it's targeting just maybe 2 women, etc., described as party hacks, but in a nutshell, all women should be feeling insulted when they hear such a clip. That's not being made by somebody we see as a vagabond, some individual we see as who is not well brought up, etc. But an individual is a former government minister serving on a board. He was selected by a government minister to serve on that board. He's the one who is using such inflammatory or degrading language on a talk show. Those people are very much aware of what would have said, what transpired, etc. And if they see the need to take action, then they will take action. But also, the citizens, the citizenry, if they are outstanding citizens in our country, people who care about the morals of our country, people are concerned about the behavior of other individuals on leadership position, they will raise their voices against this. And we just have to leave it to the authorities and leave it to the rest of the citizenry to act upon it. And that's why I had the question, the NewsSpin Facebook question of the day. How did we get ourselves into this mess? Because politicians will conduct the affairs of the state at a particular level. And very often, they know that certain things that they will do that's unacceptable, generally supposed to be unacceptable, will be ignored or tolerated by the masses. And you will only do what you believe that you can get away with. Because, let's take for example, country we like to make reference to. I know these days we like to make reference to certain countries. In Jamaica, certain interest groups would have outrightly condemned that statement that was made by this individual, former government minister, Dr. Keith Mondesi. That's for Barbados. So many organizations, so many women's groups, etc. I could see it happening as well in Trinidad. But in the case of St. Lucia, truth be told, over the last several years, we have lowered our standards. So things in other countries that might be considered to be unacceptable, in the case of St. Lucia, because we have lowered our standards, because we have become so inured to certain things, certain statements, certain actions do not shock us anymore, do not cause us to raise our voices and to condemn such statements and such actions. We have a WhatsApp call as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Yeah, Timothy.
Yes, sir.
Good day.
Good afternoon to you.
For people that don't understand what Philip JPS said this morning, he basically said, "I nothing that, leave me alone. The police have to do better. The police that responsible for crime in St. Lucia." That is the most basic translation of what he said there. Because what I question now is if ministers get extra money based on the portfolios, the extra portfolios they hold. Do they?
No, they don't.
So he just have that portfolio there for nothing, just have it there?
I would say for nothing. He was the one who decided to take on that portfolio: national security, youth economy, finance, and prime minister.
It's for nothing because when they're giving the police vehicles and things, ministers that there's been friend giving the police vehicles. At the end, I like the are a lot of supporters that all of the SFB that always call in and they make statements like, if you see his track record and whatever, but he spent 25 years in Marshall. Marshall always have had that crime problem. He take over the country, the whole country turned to to Marshall, as far as I'm concerned. That's his track record. That's what he does. He doesn't care. We keep going and crying to them when they don't care. Like that statement there. That statement only offending people on the other side. Every SLP supporter support what the guy say. He right, he dumb right. Because that's the degrading language they speak on the streets. So they actually proud when somebody represent them use their language from on the streets. And that's how that's the road we going down as St. Lucians now. Anyways, have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your contribution with us. Let's see if we have some of your WhatsApp messages while we wait another. Okay, we have another call via WhatsApp as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Mr. Poleon, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. Hope you had a pleasant weekend.
It was okay.
Okay, wonderful. So, Timothy, I'm just calling to follow up on a matter that goes back into last week. Thursday last week, I called. You played a particular clip that I think you couch in a humorous way as comedy, having to do with politicians and a sense as to what kind of measures we think should be put in place to assess their performance, or what are the factors that are required insofar as determining how fit they are for the job or the responsibility. Okay, and I called soon after, made reference to the clip that you played, and in a sarcastic way, I added to it by saying, look, we need to take this thing serious, and suggested that some kind of measure needs to be put in place to guarantee the electorate assurance, right? Now, in doing that, I actually took a swipe at my good friend Azzy, saying that he's into the job of insurance, so that he should give this some consideration. I also went on to couch my comment in the context that there's a sense that the electorate are tired with the system, etc., etc. So sort of suggesting that's a guarantee, if you want. But all of it was placed in the context of sarcasm, okay? Now, Rick came in and sought to pour scorn over my comments, suggesting that, oh, Tim, how can you allow LeBron to make such a ridiculous statement, etc., etc. And, you know, I was a bit taken aback. I would think that Rick could accord me and other callers the brevity of being able to make statements in the context of sarcasm, etc., have a little wit and so on. And it is not everything that Rick should want to put his muscle into. You know, sometimes we need to allow for that brevity, okay? But let me just say that, and I don't, Rick is somebody I have tremendous respect for, and I really don't want to get into a ping pong with Rick going back and forth, but I just want to call to indicate that I thought, you know, should I say I felt a bit, I was taken aback. I don't want to use a stronger term as being offended. And in the same way he called to comment or respond to what I said, he made reference to my son's show and say, oh, that's a very good show, Good Morning St. Lucia, which is now into its second month. And I thought there was some irony there, because he was sort of suggesting that, oh, my son has this very good show that he's impressed with, not understanding that that show is part of a package, which I am a key aspect of, you know. So I want to say to Rick, welcome to Good Morning St. Lucia in terms of the listenership.
So you just took the opportunity there to promote your show on my show.
Let me move on quickly from that. And I just want to say we actually envisage bringing Rick on board as a guest to look at the state of journalism, and I think you would appreciate that in St. Lucia. So I just want to relate to my friend Rick. I think, as I said, it is not everything that he needs to put muscle into. He needs to take it in a lighter sense, and my comment was couched in that sense, with a bit of sarcasm, looking at the clip that you played. So, Rick, expect a call from us anytime. We'd want to get you on board to help advance that discussion on the state of journalism in St. Lucia. Thank you, Timothy.
All right, thank you so much. So everyone is using NewsSpin to promote their programs and also sourcing our contributors, because Rick is one of the main contributors to the broadcast. I'm not surprised if that's not Rick. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller. Clearly not Rick.
You know about show on Saturday. And, Tim, when you have a man in government making that kind of statement and women, Tim, what do you expect? And you want the Prime Minister or Susan King to resign that man? Tim, you will never see that in the St. Lucia, Tim. You will never see that in St. Lucia. You know why you never see that? Because men bet, men well. All of them is one together. Thank you, Tim.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, people are definitely calling for the head of Dr. Keith Mondesi as far as that comment that he made over the weekend. I don't know if it deserves asking for his resignation or sanctioning him in some way or censuring him or having him to apologize. I honestly believe that he should apologize because that was senseless, that was déclassé. It was just uncalled for. We have a call. Good afternoon. You're spinning on the air.
Tim, this is not going to be any ping pong or any boxing match. I've known LeBron for too long to get into any kind of war with him.
And these days, you're too old for that, man. You can't get involved in that.
Well, it's not too old. I have to be very careful with your words because, you know, you don't want to be accused of ageism, especially when the example you're picking on is beyond compare.
Yeah, but when you're a victim of heightism, there's nothing wrong with talking about heightism.
What is heightism? Heightism?
Height.
What height, man?
Heightism, ageism, heightism. Okay,
no, man, you mustn't judge people by their age, man. Judge them by what they say always, regardless of how young or how old.
Yeah.
One is expected to show a little more wisdom as one gets older because of experiences. One is supposed to do that. But I have always said people who are senile at 60 were senile at 14 too. Only they called him stupid at 14. But these were all the signs of senility from 14. Now you see how bright this boy is? No, very serious.
Yeah.
I want LeBron to know that in my estimation, not humbly, never humble, in my estimation, there are some things you do not joke about, because especially when the thing is a disease and has been a disease in your country for the longest time and is a recurring problem. So I asked, I think I referenced, was that a joke or was it not a joke? Because there's some things, I mean, you don't make jokes about old people. Well, you remember the time when, I don't know if it's changed, when an old lady fell and you'd hear the crowd.
Yeah, he
sat up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm hoping we've gotten from that. We are into a kind of humor that's not even slapstick. It is almost graveyard humor. So those things I have never taken lightly, because what you say, Tim, even in a real joke, is indicative of your thinking.
That's true.
Not him, what happened to you? And when you respond, you can't take a joke, man. That's just a joke, man. I don't take it for a joke, because it tells me what you are thinking, and I have a great sense of humor, I think. So I mean no harm, meant no harm, or in any shape meant to insult Donnelly. Not at all. I just figure serious things we have to discern between the serious and levity, and to comment accordingly. I want him to know that I don't know why I'm the one being called. Not that I'm saying no, why I'm the one being called to discuss something that does not exist. Unless you want to discuss the history of journalism in St. Lucia, I might be happy to do that. But don't say let's discuss journalism in St. Lucia, because there's none. Okay, that is the thing of the past. You know that. Everybody else knows that. Okay? So I just want to settle that, and I don't want into any ping pong or even boxing match with Donny. So he doesn't have to worry about that. My respect for him remains, and I didn't know he was part of the young man's show.
Yeah.
But if he was, kudos to him.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change the fact that the young man has an outstanding show, that his personality is I mean, I'm lost for words. It's so unusual in St. Lucia. His personality draws you in. He comes across like a highly intelligent young man, an exemplar for other young people in the country, etc. So I call a spade a spade. If he happens to be in the background helping that, all the better. Okay?
Okay, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right, we have a call. As we say, good afternoon. This is NewsSpin, where I could see there is a former government minister, Fortunia Belrose, is the contributor. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon, Tim. Very
yes,
interesting program.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Two things, I heard the debate a while ago with respect to Mondesi, and, the lack of respect is something we've seen from the start, of this government. And we should not be surprised, and for me as a civilian, I think the first blow that we got was that attempt at making Ernest Hilaire the Deputy Prime Minister, in the wake of the Rovergate scandal. So that, along with a myriad of other things, the Joaquin Henry becoming the Minister for Ecclesiastical Affairs, Richard Frederick, we know his case and stories. So we should not be surprised. But what I want to say is you started your subject on leadership this afternoon. And I just want to say that for me, it has always been very clear that we have two different leaders, one in opposition and one in government. The one in opposition, to my mind, who is Alan Chasney, he articulated his vision for the country. The leadership of the UWP is one where we think big, we think outside the box, we think outside of our country, we think inside and outside, yes, but we have a spirit of abundance where we actually, as individuals within that party, seek to ensure that the wider society benefits from the work that we do. And so we see that in everything that we did as a government. The unemployment figures dropped from 25 to 16%. The poverty levels dropped from 28% to 17% under our watch. And so these things are what matters, you understand, when you run in a government. How are your people? Are your people better off? Is the society better off? The other one, which is what we see now with our Prime Minister, he has a mentality which, and Rick was speaking about the mentality, the mindset. He has a mentality which focuses on ensuring that the habits of the poor are facilitated and maintained. In the process, of course, we're keeping people poor and taking care of them using the wealth of the already poor state. This is the mentality that came out of slavery. And, you know, and we must all be honest about it. It is very glaring that this is what we're doing. And as a result of that mentality too, what do? We blame everybody for everything that goes wrong. And we continue to play the victim game. And so that is what we see in our society now. You know, I'm very happy for the emancipation programs. And tomorrow we'll be celebrating La Rose. But when you look at what La Rose is teaching us, it's about community. And of course, yes, a level of conformity, but importantly, allowing us to be and to achieve the best that we can, you know, as citizens. On the one hand, now we are preaching emancipation. And on the other hand, we are also teaching the blame game, you know, which does not inspire anybody. You know, that blame game causes animosity. It creates division. It shows that we have no confidence and does not allow people to be assertive. You know, that we're all shy and we're not go-getters. We lack initiative. And I believe this is a trap that we have been placed into as a country, and we need to come out of that. It's very dangerous. And of course, we see all of that being manifested in the incompetence of the team around us. No sugar, the passport fiasco, the confusion with Cabot, the Piton Nature Heritage Trail. You know, all of these things amount to the fact that it's a mentality that is working through those systems, you know, not to ensure that we have the spirit of abundance and things are better off overall in our society. And you know what? When we do that and we behave that kind of way, the crime festers because people cannot see their way through things. People cannot understand where they fit into the scheme of things. And so the mentality of the government must change. We need to make some strong statements around crime. And the way you do it is first you clean up the cabinet, where you have all the negativity, where everybody's eyes are pinned every week to hear what they're saying and who is saying what. It is sad that we are at this point. But as people who come out of sports, our sports people know it is wrong. And when you had a young man being killed last week, you know, on the playing field, watching a football match, he was watching the match. This is something any ordinary citizen can go out and do.
He wasn't killed, eh? He wasn't killed. He was shot and injured.
Huh?
He was shot and injured.
Well, he was. The fact is, the weapon was used in an environment where it was supposed to be peace and relaxation. You understand? This is not good. This is not a good sign for our playing facilities. That's where the majority of our young people recreate across the country. So we cannot continue with that behavior of stifling and blocking, you know, and that's why, you know, Tim, I go back to this special prosecutor. I really wish the special prosecutor was appointed to look through the government's systems to ensure that they are working properly. Because one of the failures of the government system came in 1997 when the government, the then SLP government, and I say that because I'm a long-standing public servant. I served the country for a number of years and I saw the changes over time. But I can tell you when the SLP came in 1997, what they did was to create another layer of bringing in consultants within the government system. And these consultants now were responsible really for the level of corruption that is taking place today. And I say so with making no mistake, no bones, because I myself wrote several times, you understand, about that particular issue. Consultants just talking and earning big money. You know, I think this is really something that has destroyed us. And one more issue, on the issue of SLASPA. You know, I heard Ozzy Boy this morning on Andre's show, sorry to mention that, but Ozzy Boy was really articulate and good. And for me, I feel for the folks at SLASPA. SLASPA is one of the most professional organizations that we have in the country. And you're saying to me that we're taking SLASPA through the mud, back and forth, you know, giving the impression that SLASPA, as an agency that has managed its affairs so well over the years, you're saying to SLASPA, you all know what you're doing, we will be doing it this way, we will be doing it that way. The guys came to a conclusion that they needed to do what is right. They did what is right by the airport. And now we have a minister, a prime minister, who doesn't know where he's headed, how he's headed. He doesn't understand the tourism industry. He doesn't understand that the fact that the airport can pay for itself. He now wants to transfer that ability of SLASPA, you understand, to a private partnership. I think it is so unfair. We have no confidence in our people, and it is very clear that the mentality that we have, or that is being propagated to our people now, is one where we do not believe that our people have the confidence, you understand, to be able to do things for their country. It is sad, and we need to change it. And that is my greatest disappointment, you understand, with Mr. Philippe. That is why I sought to run against him and did it twice, because the mentality is not good. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling the broadcast. Just heard there from a government minister in the previous United Workers' Party administration for Tuna Belrose, and she did reveal that she contested the Castries East seat unsuccessfully against Mr. Philip J. Pierre. Still to come, a whole lot more. But first, we have a notice. Lucelec wishes to advise customers and the general public that its Trouble Call North service at 452-2165 is temporarily unavailable. That operator serves from Cap Estate to Dennery on the East Coast and Canaries on the West Coast. To report a fault in these areas, please call 728-9889, 728-9889. Lucelec is working to restore the phone service as quickly as possible. The management of Lucelec deeply regrets any inconvenience caused and wishes to thank customers for their patience and understanding.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbouté at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Mico Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Lucelec aveti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone ça là. Mi un petit commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Couiller Lucelec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouet ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outils ou ka servi pas venir moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucelec.
The biggest party in sport is back for the 10th year of CPL. And the St. Lucia Kings want to go all the way this year. CPL will be bigger, better and louder than ever. And with the return of our very own Johnson Charles to the Kings team. The games are between 7th and 11th of September. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com or at the box office. Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
We heard you, and now we are answering. Elks City of Castries Cooperative Credit Union is happy to offer you, our valued customers, the most amazing deal to own your piece of St. Lucia. From now until December 31st, enjoy an interest rate of 4.5% with a deposit of 5% to help you purchase house and land only, or put up a structure on your existing property. And it gets better. Legal fees are included in your mortgage. Call us at 452-6820 or 453-2951 or email us at info@elkscreditunion.com. Terms and conditions apply. Elks City of Castries Cooperative Credit Union, building a stronger community, one member at a time.
It's now time for It's a Fact. It's a fact.
And that's a fact. And that's a fact.
What's a fact? What letter starts more words than any other? What letter starts more words than any other? More words in the English language begin with S than any other letter. What letter starts more words than any other? More words in the English language begin with S than any other. And that's a fact.
And that's a fact. And that's a fact.
Another fact. We have a caller online, but we lost the call. Do we have somebody holding on? We have somebody holding on. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello.
I don't do this often, and I will not be offended if you said you can't take my call.
Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
Thank you
Famous contributor to the program. Go ahead.
Thank you. I forgot to comment on Mondesi.
Yeah.
A friend of mine and yours, we might even call him a frenemy, but he's quite smart. He said to me, if you have a mongrel at your house, don't be surprised if you come in one day and you find dog shit on your bed. Because that is what mongrels do. So you either get yourself a pedigree dog, trained, or you continue to suffer what mongrels do. Mondesi's record, by any sense, I mean, nobody's expecting perfection in anyone. But Mondesi, there's no reason whatsoever why Mondesi should still be part of any administration in this country. Mondesi also went into elections, and Claudius Francis wrote a lot about him, about his previous life as an ophthalmologist, etc., in Canada and elsewhere. It's on record. So that mongrel is a mongrel is a mongrel. But even I, Tim, was really taken aback. And Mondesi is not the problem, by the way. For a man to call a program, not even to whisper that in a corner in some bar to somebody, but to say, to refer to women's several holes, I mean, that is pit toilet kind of talk. And for a guy who was a minister, a doctor in his own sense, and holding a position that influences the granting of licenses to media, to make a statement like that, and there is not an not just talk, an outpouring of concern about Mondesi continuing in his position, that says more about those people who ostensibly are promoters of womanhood and everything to do with women than it does, because a mongrel is a mongrel is a mongrel. So I expect Mondesi to do these egregious things. But what about all those groups we hear so much about women's rights? We just had a domestic violence bill. We had all. Where are they, Tim?
Do we want to give them until what? Until Friday? I mean, to listen to the recording and to make up their minds?
No, but even then, I am still disappointed, because there must have been 5 women who heard it, or who told another woman, do you believe Mondesi said?
And out of curiosity, they would have gotten the clip.
I mean, I have never heard anything more disgusting about women. I'm not any saint where women are concerned. And if women offend me, I'm not going to offend. I'm not going to respond in terms of their gender. I'll be referring in terms of the character and their mind. Okay? But what the guy did there was stoop to the lowest level of what makes a woman as opposed to a man. Absolutely lunch-spoiling, nauseating. So let's see if there is not at least a complaint to the government regarding Mondesi staying in that position. If that were America, he's cancelled already.
Yeah.
If that were England, he's cancelled already. And even in the smaller places, he would have been cancelled already. Thanks. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, Rick, welcome. All right, we have another caller line via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Thank you so much for calling. Good afternoon. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, I'm happy Rick called back because I was wondering how Rick didn't address the Mondesi issue. I'm also wondering why Miss Fortuna Belrose, a past minister, a prominent woman in society, didn't address this either. Because, Tim, we might just take it as though... Hello?
Yes, ma'am. You are on the air. You still there?
Yes. I'm saying, Tim, we're taking this lightly. This is not a joke, you know. Mr. Mondesi needs to be put in his place. And I hope that the government does something about that, because you cannot be on the NTRC board and where you have to regulate what's happening on a radio station and you call in a program and making that kind of statement, degrading women, insulting women. That statement was real gutter. And I don't know what is the matter with Mr. Mondesi. Mr. Mondesi right now needs to sit back and chillax. Mr. Mondesi should not be on any board on anything to do with government. From the time Mr. Mondesi made that statement about the Governor General, remember the statement about the Governor General?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Snack?
Yeah.
He should have been taken to task. But it looks like anything that happens within the Labour Party is okay. Because, Tim, you know, if it was a member of the United Workers' Party had made that statement, today you would be hearing demonstrations being organized, all the so-called raise your voice, all of them would be up in arms. And it doesn't matter if it's a Labour or UWP said it, it is not right. You understand? Mr. Mondesi, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that man. I wouldn't even call him a gentleman, because these words will not come out of a gentleman's mouth. And I hope he sits back and think of what he said and apologize. If not, he needs to resign from that NTRC board. This is disgusting. This is the lowest. This is where St. Lucia has reached in politics, and it's okay because it's SLP doing it. It's not right, whether it's SLP or WP. This needs to stop, all these insults. For a man to be insulting women like that. The women, if you listen, I listen to the program, the women never insulted him. They spoke about the issues and white-collar crime, which he knows he was involved in that Tuxedo village. Nobody lied on him. The women never lied. Nobody never insulted him. They spoke the facts. And for you to call back the station and you're making that kind of degrading statement about women, Mr. Mondesi don't have sisters. He didn't have a mother. He doesn't have a woman. Tim, good afternoon. This is where we are right now in politics in St. Lucia.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for your contribution. I've ignored you in the chat room. Let me see what you're saying there. What are some of your comments that I could share with the audience? We have a call. All right, we have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Poleon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
I accidentally ran into your program while I was, panning around.
Go ahead.
And then I heard Mondesi. Anytime I hear this man's name, I am all ears. And it's unfortunate I did not hear clearly what he did, but whatever he did was extremely bad news. And then I'm getting to find out that's exactly why I'm calling. You mean SLP gave this man a job? What job they gave him, Mr. Timothy?
Well, he's serving on a board, the NTRC board. It's not really a job. He's serving on the board.
Well, NTRC, National... What's the name?
Regulatory Telecommunications Commission.
That is still too much. That means they're politically shoulder to shoulder in some sort of a way. I have a very, very big problem with that, I know Mr. Mondesi is a total disaster. I have had personal experience. I would have preferred to warn SLP that if they are associated with this man in one way or the other, I will defect. No. I hope that the SLPs have to call on Albert Baptist. I want them to get rid of this man. Otherwise, I'll be a couple steps away from this SLP. Get rid of this man, because this man is not honest. This man has no integrity. I know a number of things about him where I don't have to go according to what I hear. I could go according to my own personal experience with him. Okay? I'll be following that situation very, very closely, and I'm warning the SLP if they're going to still keep some political accommodation or association with this man, I will be openly wondering about not so much Philip J. Pierre himself, you know, but in the whole system that colonialism, we still have the yoke of neo-colonialism. We need a system, tell Philip J. Pierre to look over to Barbados. That is the kind of leadership we need nowadays. Anyhow, let me not get too emotional, Timothy.
All right, sir.
But then I'll be following this thing very, very closely. It's a pity it's mostly Flambos that is listening to your program.
No, caller. Not only Flambos. Don't do that. Not only Flambos. We have independent thinkers. We have the SLP. I think I have more SLP supporters listening to this program than United Workers' Party supporters. And we also have UWP supporters. Okay, caller?
Yeah, I listen to your program, but I know that you always treat me with a cold shoulder, so I don't call your show. But once I hear Mondays, no, I have to call.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Sorry for calling your show.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says of me in the chat room, Timothy is a weak heart. Play the clip. Timothy is a weak heart. Play the clip. So because you see that you think I will play the clip, I don't intend to play the clip on the program. We have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Two-time journalist of the year.
Good afternoon to you, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to my Baradil and Conway people. Not forgetting the captain, Guy Bousquet, and Dede. What's happening? Tim. I'm not even talking about too much about Mondesi. There's just one thing I'm going to say to him. He has to resign. He has to resign. But if you don't resign, the whole Morgus, SLP Morgus gang going to come down. Okay? He has to resign. Bottom line. No.
Let's see what the Prime Minister, caller, let's see what the Prime Minister will do. Let's see what the Telecommunications Minister will do as far as this issue is concerned.
Okay. But I called to talk about something else. Tim, I see the name of street after Ernest Hilaire.
I saw this on WhatsApp, caller, and I just forgot to make a call to the relevant authorities to find out whether this is legit. Something to the effect of Ernest Hilaire Drive. I would need somebody to confirm this from the relevant authorities, whoever decides, you know, whether they want to call, or how they name streets after people. Yes, go ahead, caller.
That's what he wants to know. What has this man done for St. Lucia? But just give us agony.
Mr. Producer, is this legit? You know about this? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
What has this man done for St. Lucia? Or for Boseju? Or for Conway? Or for Fulasho? What has he done for anybody? This man is organized chaos. This man is organized chaos, and you present his name as a... If a little boy and a girl ask him, what was this man? What he done? What are you telling me? He's organized, he was a man of organized chaos? Tim, you take a name of street after Ernest Hilaire. What do you think they should name after Sir Michael Shafty? What do you think they should name after Sir Michael Shafty, Tim?
Well, he's knighted already, so what? You want to name something after him again?
Tim, the Junior Hunt, they name a street after him, highway, the John Compton. You're looking to force me, right?
Caller, I don't think that Sir Michael is craving having the authorities name a streets after him.
Hold on. Don't talk for Sir Michael. I talk it, not you. Let me say this to you. There's nobody in the history of St. Lucia, past and present, that's done quarters one with Sir Michael Shafty done for St. Lucia. Nobody. Sometimes you can't even compare the government with this man. Sometimes you can't even compare the government with this man. And I am saying to y'all, if y'all could name, whoever it is, could name a street after organized chaos Ernest Hilaire, the Mongoose gang name a street after him. I am saying that Castries should be renamed. Yes, I repeat, Castries should be renamed to Michael Shasta. Shasta City. Shasta City. If not the whole country, name the Castries after the man. Castries should be renamed Shasta City. Sir Michael Shasta City. That's what I'm talking because this SFP is too disgusting.
No, caller, be careful because I don't know the history behind this. I don't know if it is this administration or if it's people in the community decided to name a street after him, caller. Right. I don't know. So let's just wait. Let's do the research, and tomorrow we can speak more authoritatively on this issue.
I am calling out for Castries to be renamed and renamed as the man that did more for St. Lucia than anybody, past and present. Castries, Sir Michael Shasta City. Sir Michael Shasta, the whole city of Castries renamed after Sir Michael Shasta. You have a nice day.
Okay, thank you so much. Somebody is into some false equivalence. What Mondesi said was wrong, and that's from the chat room. What Mondesi said was wrong. However, listening to the holier-than-thou hacks, you would swear they never cursed out their mother, father, children, family, friend, or enemy. What kind of comment is that? It's wrong to curse your mother, wrong to curse your father, wrong to insult children, your family, friend, etc., etc. And just leave it there. And what Dr. Keith Mondesi did, what he said on that program was wrong, outrightly wrong, and just end it there. It was wrong. Okay? You can find no excuses. Don't come up with any kind of other comparisons where people have cursed children and cursed husband and cursed father and cursed mother, etc. It is just wrong and unacceptable. Let us not lower our standards just in the name of a politician or somebody who is supporting a political party. If something is wrong, it is totally wrong, whether it's your son who did it or your mother. Don't say, some people like to say, he will not be the first, not the last, not the first child who did this, not the first man who did this, not the first woman, etc. It is just wrong, and let's end it there. Let's set high standards for ourselves, our leaders, persons who are serving on boards, persons who are serving the state, people who are representing us. Let us set high standards for them. Don't say because, okay, Kenny said it, and then Philip JPS said it, etc., and then Chastain said, and just make excuses for those individuals. If it is wrong, it is definitely unacceptable, and it is worthy of condemnation, because the fact is, when will it end, or where will we ensure that, whatever standard that we'll set, definitely it will be adhered to. We have a call online as we say hello, and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin, you on the air. Good afternoon.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Oh, Tim, but I've been trying to reach you.
Okay, that's Mr. Oswald Augustine.
Yes, Tim.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Tim,
you're on the air.
Tim, I know you only have about 10 minutes, and I want to do it fast.
Less than that. Go ahead.
Tim, I am one of those St. Lucians, right, who always respect a prime minister, no matter who the prime minister is, because I think a prime minister deserves respect. But when you find a prime minister blatantly lying and trying to throw people under the bus, citizens under the bus, it is something I must speak about, and that is to do with the Hiwanora International Airport. I heard the Prime Minister state that there was cost overruns of $80 million by virtue of the last Prime Minister moving the airport from the construction of the new airport from where the existing airport is into a new location. All right, now, Tim, I know you have a lot of common sense, right? Are you hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear, Connor.
Okay. I know you have a lot of common sense. Do you expect to build a new airport where the existing airport is without breaking it down? Or even to do major renovations? Wouldn't that affect our tourism industry?
Yeah, you'd have to close the airport. You'll have to close the airport to do that.
Exactly, and probably you may have to use VG. Now, what can get into VG?
is these little aircraft, the white body aircraft, the 727, the 737, 747, 757, 767, they cannot call there. All right. So then, when you go and tell people that that there was supposed to be 300 piles, and it cost them a further, the contractors had to use 3,000 plus piles, and it costs St. Lucia so much more money. I mean, why do you have to lie to St. Lucia? You have a board, and I'm sure your board is not even too happy about what you're saying. And the reason why I am on and calling you today, it is because I used to be the chairman of the tenders committee for SLASPA, and I know enough about what transpired and what is going on at that airport. I can tell you, SLASPA had a dedicated team looking at that airport, a dedicated project consultant. In fact, and a very, very, very good designer for the airport. If you're going to build an airport, you're not going to build an airport for 5 years or 10 years. You're going to build an airport that's going to last you a long time, which is going to bring in returns to you for a long time. Now, we said there was no tendering for the airport. The loan from the airport was $100 million from the Exim Bank of Taiwan. Conditions were, if you want my loan, I will let you know who the contractor is. The Exim Bank gave a contracting company from Taiwan called OECC to do the contract. That's if you don't use them, you cannot get the loan. So that whole issue of tender, it is rubbish. These OECC guys, and I can tell you, if SLASPA could have done without using them, SLASPA would have. Because these guys are very difficult to work with. Very difficult to work with, and sometimes they make you believe that they cannot even speak English. You know? And they kept on delaying, they kept on delaying. The rest of the money came from a consortium of banks led by our Bank of St. Lucia. So all those checks and balances were put in place. I mean, everything was vetted. Lawyers were being paid. Lawyers were being paid to vet, both the bank's lawyer and SLASPA's lawyer. So then I don't even have to tell you. You would know that if you have to take a big loan, you have to spend money to get that loan, because you would have to pay lawyers, you pay the bank lawyer, you have to pay, and because of the amount of money which is being spent. I mean, you're looking at our airport, which is going to cost in excess of 400 million EC dollars. So the other $75 million had to come from a consortium of regional banks. Tim. Now, Tim, the foundation, that foundation was done without any cost overrun, and it was done in record time, the 3,000 and something piles. So why should the minister go to a town hall meeting in Beaufort, where the same area where that, the same town where that airport is being built, to come and spread his lies to make the other government look bad and said that they moved the location because of Teo Hakim to try to put it there. There are so many reasons why you had to move the airport. As I said, one is you would have to close down one. If you went on the original site, you would have to close down one to build the other. Secondly, the Prime Minister of the day, he also spoke about home porting. He spoke about so many different things as he gave reasons why he was moving the airport from the original site, which has the present terminal, to where it was going. We spoke about getting the airport world class, because you have your customs. You need a proper customs place. You need pre-clearance. I guess St. Lucians by now know what pre-clearance is, right? You can clear for the U.S. in St. Lucia even before reaching there. Vis-a-vis. And now COVID even showed us about the health issues. You need to have port health at the airport, something we never ever had before. Tim, why? It irks me that first you came into office, you said you're going to have a review and an investigation on SLASPA. Not one media house or not one solution have heard or gotten that report. Nobody has gotten that report, but I have information about that report that they couldn't even finish that report. because they saw nothing wrong. You went after the designers, asking the designers after the guys have been laying piles, you know, if they could if they could make the airport reduce on the size of the airport. They told you no, you know. So you're trying everything now to speak about IFC. IFC wanted to have a PPP with your government, Tim. And if IFC's IFC's deal was they pay for the airport, they build the airport, and you get your airport 30 years after. You know what's going to happen that 30 years after? All you will be doing is paying for maintenance, buying new equipment, repairing equipment, and you know the cost of those things. Why don't you use, in fact, no, I shouldn't say that yet. I should tell you, between 2006 and 2011, there were a few millions of dollars in the kitty because there was an airport development tax, which means it's only the traveling public that will be the ones paying for that airport. So why do you want somebody else to build your airport? All right, we are not, the taxpayers are not paying for that airport. The airport are being paid by those who travel. So why do you want to go and have a PPP? And Tim, you know, you have contracts. So every day that airport is being delayed, it's costing you money. Just like the road they stopped at, you know, in Grosley, the housing developments, it's costing the government money. The media now need to go out and ask the government how much money is being spent since they have stopped so many projects. Tim, they need to ask them that question. And do they really intend to continue the projects? The other thing is, I was always mad about the way St. Jude's was stopped. I felt that they could have continued with St. Jude's, even though if it's a new one you're doing or whatever you're doing, continue with it, and then you investigate and do what you have to do. Look at us now. We are without a hospital after how many years? And this government is doing more foolishness. So I even suspect that at the end of the day, we will not even have that airport, which we so deserve. Barbados have moved forward, Antigua has moved forward, Bahamas moved forward. All the countries that depend on tourism have moved forward. We're going to stay behind. Thank you, Tim.
All right, thank you so much for calling, sir. Just there from former chairman of the United Workers' Party, Mr. Oswald Augustine. The point he said about the Prime Minister lied based on the statement that he made during the town hall meeting. I have no evidence of this, so I have to clearly err on this particular matter. I have no way of saying or concluding or agreeing with you, sir, that the Prime Minister lied when he was speaking on that Uranora International Airport issue. Let's turn our attention now to our NewsSpin news of the day as we're getting set to conclude our broadcast, our NewsSpin news of the day. Chinese scientists claim to have engineered the world's first mouse with fully reprogrammed genes. Our NewsSpin news of the day, Chinese scientists claim to have engineered the world's first mouse with fully reprogrammed genes. NewsSpin news of the day, bringing to a conclusion the Monday edition of the broadcast. Continue to listen to Power 97.9 FM. Coming up, we have the Power Drive, and I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, same time, 12:30, with another edition of your favorite talk show on radio, on Facebook, on YouTube. It's called NewsSpin. Goodbye.